in the book. They didn't die because they saw me, they saw my story, they saw their own story. Sometimes I'm mixing it, but I'm trying to get you back in. Yeah, so the answer would be Man and Boy was the most autobiographical, closest to my life, and maybe that's why it was the most successful, you know, because it was the most flesh and blood. Now, I think every novel is autobiographical. Every novel in the world is autobiographical to some degree. And you flesh out the autobiography with research and with imagination. And imagination is a wonderful tool for a novelist. And you can't just use the raw material of your own life. Especially, you know, you run out of it. You run out of that. You use your friends. You know, writers are all cannibals. Like to plunder the lives of other people and their material. And but Man and Boy was the closest to my life and the closest to my heart.
Do you feel as a novelist you have an obligation to whoever's reading to kind of give them a vision of what is possible and what they could emulate?
I think that when you write a novel, it's so it's such a complex task, you know, that you just really want to try and get the story that's in your head down to the part. And for me, I don't know, I can't speak for any other novelist, but the only obligation that I feel is to try and make it as good as I know it can be. I do a lot of drafts, I go over books again and again and again until my publishers rip them from my hands and say, now we've got to publish the thing. So I don't, you know, it's not a real moral lesson thing. And there's nothing first, but I think people should enjoy it. I mean, I think that they're, you know, they tend to be decent people. You know, the people, fallible human beings, as we all are, but very human beings. You know, usually main characters are good people trying to do the right thing, but not always. So I don't, you know, I struggle to get it right, to get the story as good as it can be, to make it interesting, especially, you know, in this age where the printed page is competing with the internet and new technology and attention spans are diminishing, I think, all the time. You know, it's got to be good, it's got to be a page turner. You can pick up a book, it's got to hold your attention and until the end, and that takes a lot of work getting that right. That's me anyway. You know, maybe you know, if I was Charles Dickens or William Shakespeare, it wouldn't be such hard work. But I find it a struggle to try to get the book in my head up and down onto the page.
Did that answer your question? Do you, when you are writing, do you have like the audience in mind? Do you have the person that you're telling the story to?
Yeah, I meet a lot of my readers all the time, really. You know, people approach me in airports and on the street and in restaurants and in bars. And if you sell books at a certain level, you know, you're selling in millions, then you pretty much meet your readers all the time. And it's not, you know, it's got a very certain level that someone will just come up to you in a coffee shop. And I try not to have anybody in mind. I try to just concentrate on making the book as good as it can be. But when you meet readers and you know that certain books that you've written have meant something to them, I do feel, you know, I do feel a responsibility, and I do feel an obligation to my readers, and I don't want to let them down. I don't want them to, you know, to think that I'm not as good as I used to be. You know, that Tony Parsons is past his best. So I do feel. And you know, my readers are men, women, all different ages, but I do have them in mind because I don't want to let them down. I don't want to let them down.
When you say you don't want to let them down, that's in terms of the quality of your writing, but not in terms of your characters. Like, you know, I may want Harry Silver to be behaving in a particular way, more responsible or anything like that.
No, not in a moral way, not in a sense of, you know, I'm not giving anybody moral lessons. That would be a patronising thing to do. My readers are smart people, they don't need moral lessons from me or anyone else. But I do feel, I just feel responsibility to make the books as as good as I know they can be, and just to keep that, you know, to fulfil that function, to not disappoint people. I think a lot of books are sold that are never read. You know, I think some of the biggest writers in the world, like John Grisham and Dan Brown, I honestly believe a majority of their books are never read because they're just, you know, they're unreadable. They're so bad. It's like, you know, they're success stories of marketing rather than anything else. And I do think my books are read. I think that people read my books, and that's you know, it's not an unbearable burden. You should have that. You know, as a writer, you know, it's a very privileged life to be a writer. It's a very blessed existence to spend your life creating stories you know are going to be read. But you know, I think it comes with a certain responsibility. If you want to keep doing it, then you need. You're not Dan Brown or John Grisham that sells unreadable books. You've got to keep people reading. You've got to keep them interested. But there's plenty of competition out there.
We've got a question from the audience.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Thanks a lot. Thanks for the kindness and nice information. I want to ask you, as a novelist, do you believe that novels should be lifelike and the issue should have some message behind it concerning the life and the reality, or it should be written purely based on imagination and it should be romantic to some extent? What is your idea in this regard?
Yeah, well, I think we do. I mean, I think that we do. You know, we all have romance in our souls. You know, we all have romance in our hearts and our heads. And a lot of the decisions that we take in life about who to fall in love with, who to marry, who to have children, these are not cold, pragmatic decisions. These are decisions that we make, you know, that we make romantically, emotionally. I'd like to think that my books are lifelike, but often when people talk about lifelike fiction or lifelike gospel, lifelike art, they mean, you know, life at its worst. Life at its worst. You know, and life can be glorious, so life can be wonderful, life can be full of magic. And so I'd like to think that the books are lifelike. I'd like to think they're realistic, but they're realistic and they're lifelike in a benign, optimistic. I mean, I do get accused of being sentimental by the critics. You know, my critics have said, you know, that my books are sentimental and they're very emotional, and that's all true. That's absolutely true. You know, I write about parents, and I write about children, and I write about families, and I think we are all sentimental about families. If you're not sentimental about your own family, I think, you know, you're in trouble, really. So, yeah, they're lifelike, but they're not about life as it works. You know, they're quite aspirational books. I think that they look for, you know, they want the relationship between men and women to work. They want parents and children to love one another and respect one another. So they, you know, they define it as a long and rocky road, and there's a lot of trouble and drama on that.
I mean, talking about wanting your novels to be aspirational, I remember reading in this last book of yours, Men from the Boys, you have Joni commenting on the fairy tales that Harry reads to her, and she said that, well, they start differently, they all end the same way. My question is, well, in the course of your story, you deny expectations, you know, all the happy moments that you think that will happen, like, you know, the fight that started and you think he's going to win the fight, but then he gets clobbered, or the old man after seeing his winnings, you know, the dog has come in and won the race, and then he has this little attack. And yet, at the very end of your story, you bring this happy ending, with, you know, things are about to fall apart, but then you bring them all together.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think that the mark, for me, the mark of That's a great question.